Hey everybody, so it's time for NHL Games of the Week, where I look ahead at the upcoming week in the NHL and pick out which games I think will be the best and most exciting to watch this week. Before we get into the video, I just quickly want to remind everyone to please hit that like button and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. And if you're new to the channel or not yet subscribed for any reason, please hit that subscribe button and follow along for all my hockey content this season. So, I'm recording this on Saturday. You guys won't see it until Sunday. Obviously, this comes out every Sunday morning, this series. But I'm got a lot going on tomorrow on Sunday, so I'm recording it a day early. So this is for the week of Sunday, October 27th through Saturday, November 2nd. And there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of really great matchups this week. Honestly, I probably could have picked more games than this, but I tried to not make this video like 15 minutes long. So here's what I got for games of the week this week. There are a lot of great matchups, and this is going to be a very good week for watching NHL hockey. I can guarantee you that. Let's get right into it with, today, for you guys, Sunday, October 27th, Philadelphia versus the New York Islanders. Great matchup, 7 p.m. start time at Nassau Coliseum. One of the games that the Islanders are playing on Long Island this year. Divisional rivalry, just really good team, fun teams to watch play each other. A lot of bad blood, just good rivalry game, and should be a lot of fun. Also on the 27th, we have Boston versus the New York Rangers. So not in the same division, but still a really good matchup. Original six rivalry, and even though they don't play all that often, they only play 3 times a year, because obviously the Rangers are in the Metro and Boston's in the Atlantic. But when Boston and New York meet up, it's usually a good game, and it's usually got a little bit more heat to it than you would expect from a non-divisional opponent. It's just, when Rangers and Bruins, it's just like that, and those are really fun games to watch. And then lastly, Anaheim versus Vegas. Divisional matchup out in the Pacific. Anaheim is off to a much better start than I thought they would be this season. Vegas got off to kind of a really hot start, but hasn't been great of late. Vegas is coming off of a brutal 6-1 drubbing at home by the Colorado Avalanche. I think Vegas is going to come out with a chip on their shoulder against a divisional opponent in the Ducks on tomorrow night, or tonight for you guys. And that's going to be a great game. And Vegas obviously has big time rivalries with San Jose. Vegas and LA have gone at it early on in the existence of the Golden Knights. Anaheim is, of the 3 California teams, has kind of been the team that Vegas hasn't yet developed much of a rivalry with. But I think they're going to have a big time chip on their shoulder after that 6-1 loss at home. And I don't think they're going to let that happen again. So I think Anaheim should expect a strong effort from Vegas, and that should be a fun game to watch. Monday the 28th, there are only 2 games in the league that night. Neither of them are spectacular matchups, so nothing for the 28th. The 29th, we have 3 more games on the 29th. Washington at Toronto. That's going to be a really fun one. Obviously, high-flying offense between those two teams. Toronto, I think they're like 5-4 and something now. I don't remember how many overtime losses off the top of my head, but Toronto hasn't been dominant to start this season. Washington's been very, very strong out of the gate. But obviously immense talent on both sides for those teams, and that should be a really fun, exciting, fast-paced hockey game to watch. We also have the Battle of Pennsylvania for the first time this season. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh go at it on Tuesday night, and that should be, obviously, it's Penguins-Flyers. That rivalry certainly calmed down a little bit over the last few seasons. It's not like it was like 5-6 years ago when they were, all over each other. It's definitely calmed down, but it's still Penguins-Flyers. It's still one of the best rivalries in the NHL. It's a long-time rivalry in the NHL. And I mean, it's going to be a great game either way. Philly's not off to a super great start. Pittsburgh's dealing with a lot of injuries. Divisional game, there's going to be a lot on the line for an early season matchup like this. And then also that night at 8 p.m., we have Chicago versus Nashville. Central Division matchup. Chicago is not off to a great start. I expected Chicago to be a lot better out of the gate this year. They haven't been. Nashville's been good. Not as good as Colorado, but Nashville's been good out of the gate. And, divisional matchup, pretty decent rivalry between the Predators and Blackhawks. Those games over the past few years have gotten testy at times. And obviously that makes the game all the more exciting and fun to watch. And I think that it's going to be a good one Tuesday night. So then we move on to Wednesday, October 30th. Good number of games that night. But the one that really sticks out to me is Vancouver versus LA. They played already earlier this season. Divisional matchup out in the Pacific. And Vancouver's off to a nice start. LA, I mean, they're not great, but they're certainly better than I thought they were going to be. I thought they'd be, right there with Ottawa, with maybe only having 1 or 2 wins at this point. LA's looked and played a little bit better than I expected them to this season. And, it's going to be a fun divisional game against the Canucks. And LA actually beat Vancouver earlier this season. So I look for a little revenge from the Canucks that night. Then we have Halloween, Thursday, October 31st. Only 2 games in the league that night, neither all that special. So nothing for then. We get to Friday, November 1st, and we are already to the month of November, guys. It's crazy how fast time goes by. November 1st, we have some great matchups as well. Philadelphia versus the New Jersey Devils. Devils obviously not off to the start that they wanted to be given that revamped lineup. That's going to be a big-time game for them against a divisional opponent in Philadelphia. And there's a pretty good rivalry between those two teams. As with many teams in the Metro, when they meet up, it gets heated usually pretty quickly. So I would expect that one to be a whole lot of fun to watch. Then we have Buffalo versus Washington. Friday night as well. I mean, 2 of the hottest teams to start the season. Buffalo 9-2-1 to start the year. Washington's been really good out of the gate as well. Division leaders, Washington leading the Metro, Buffalo leading the Atlantic right now. Just a high quality matchup that should be a lot of fun to watch. And then we have Dallas at Colorado. Colorado has been unreal this season, completely living up to the hype so far. 8-1-1, just great record for the Avalanche. And Dallas, for all the expectations for the Stars this year, for all the hype surrounding Dallas and what they've done, adding Joe Pavelski and taking a playoff team and trying to make them better. Dallas has been really pretty poor to start this season, so this is going to be a big game for them against the division-leading Avalanche, where Dallas wants to prove that they can play with the big boys and that this was just a bad start and that they're going to turn things around. So that should be a really fun game in Colorado. And then finally, Saturday, November 2nd, we got a couple of really good matchups that night. Colorado versus Arizona. Avalanche really hot out of the gate, really good team, ton of hype surrounding them coming into the season, 100% living up to it, like I said. Arizona's another team that people expected a lot coming into this season, serious signs of improvement. Not a bad start to the season for them at all. They've come out and played pretty well this year, and that's going to be a big-time matchup against 2, young, hungry and pretty hot teams who both really want to come out and win against each other. And then finally, Vancouver versus San Jose. Great matchup there. Divisional matchup. Again, the Canucks trying to show that they are a playoff level team and that with the additions that they made, JT Miller, Michael Furlan, Tyler Myers, Jordy Ben, they really revamped their lineup and improved their lineup this offseason. They've had a nice start to the year, and they're trying to prove that they are there to stay in the Pacific and that they're going to be a top team all year long. Matchup against the Sharks. Obviously, we all know about the Sharks and how they started the season and how ugly the first couple weeks were for them, they've started to turn it around. They've started to win some games. Erik Karlsson's playing well. Obviously, they have big-time talent there in San Jose. So that's going to be kind of a measuring stick game, I think, for both of those teams, honestly. Vancouver wants to measure themselves against a team that traditionally over the past few years has been one of the best teams in the Western Conference. And San Jose wants to, show that their start this year was just a bad first couple weeks and that they're still that high-level team, and they want to go out and beat a team that's off to a good start this year in Vancouver. So that should be a fun matchup. So those are my games of the week this week. I think, there's a lot of really good hockey. There's a couple of Minnesota-St. Louis matchups that I didn't even get put on here, but that's obviously a good division rivalry there. Minnesota's pretty poor this year, but still, those games could be fun to watch. And there's just a lot of great hockey this week. So if any chance you get to sit down and watch some of these games, it's going to be well worth it. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.